One of the biggest signs it might be time to start overhauling how you navigate your social and romantic life is if you are the person in your relationships who is always left waiting. Waiting to see if they're going to go out with you that weekend, even though you guys supposedly had plans together. Waiting to see if they're actually going to show up for that event that they claimed they were excited to go to. Waiting to see if people felt like going out that weekend so you could finally enjoy a social life. How good does it really feel being the person who's always left around waiting so other people can have their social life whenever they finally feel like contacting you? And why wouldn't they contact you? You are always there for them with open arms to greet them and go out with them whenever the mood strikes them. Or maybe they're not calling you at all. Maybe the person that you're focused on right now is an ex who is in no rush to call or text you because they know how much you love them. They know how much you still care about them, and they know all they have to do is send one text message and you will clear your evening to banter back and forth with them all night long. Why do people do this? Because they can. I mean, think about it from their perspective just for a moment. How good would it feel if you could go through your life without a care in the world about how you treat other people? Just not having to take any accountability or have any responsibility in your relationships, because you know, no matter what you do, there's always someone there in the background who loves you and cares about you. And if you ever have a bad day, or you need to talk, or you feel like you want to go out, no matter how long it's been since you have even had a communication with this person, no matter how rude you've been to them, they will always be there for you. People do this to us because we let them get away with it. Hello friends, my name is Maria, and for almost 20 years, my social life was based on whether or not everyone else felt like hanging out with me that weekend. I spent my weekends being everyone else's social safety net, but if they didn't feel like going out, or they were too busy, or they were prioritizing something else other than me, it didn't matter what our plans were or how much I was looking forward to them. It looks like I was spending the weekend making popcorn and binge watching Netflix alone. We grew up with inconsistent, unreliable, emotionally unavailable people waiting for the day they would finally give us what we need. And as a result, this waiting for love, this need that's never fulfilled, follows us into adulthood, and we find ourselves in relationships that take and take and take, and it's time to take back. So grab a bottle of nail polish and let's talk. There are people in this world who will never be able to give you what you need. It's time for you to start listening to yourself. You do not have to wait to feel loved. You can start today by giving yourself everything that for so long you believed you could only get from other people. Understanding, empathy, validation, someone to keep you company. Trust me, when you truly love yourself and you enjoy your life, you'll find that there are a lot less instances where you ever actually feel lonely. Now, I am not saying that you should have a life where you're only ever entertaining yourself and you never get to go out with other people, because I will tell you, yeah, traveling's awesome. But I never really wanted to travel alone, and I never really wanted to travel with girlfriends either. I wanted a boyfriend. It's just part of my personality. It's who I am. So yes, I understand that sometimes it's frustrating when people say, oh, well, you know, you can learn how to do things by yourself. We don't always want to do things by ourselves all the time. But what I am talking about is if you have had an unfortunate pattern in your life where you find yourself either having to bend to the whim of everyone else, or you don't ever get to do anything, It's time for a reset. And I definitely had myself a reset. And let me tell you something very funny about human behavior. There's a pretty cool nightclub that for 8 years I had wanted to go. And I practically begged people to come with me. My friends, my boyfriends, please, can we go to this nightclub? It looks so awesome. And I couldn't convince anybody to ever take me or go with me. And that's kind of part of it, right? You're trying to convince people to do something with you. So there's definitely already an energy there that's not going to work in your favor. Well, cut to the day in my life, and I'll never forget it. The day I decided I was going to sit down, paint my nails, and do everything differently. This was the day that I decided I was no longer waiting for other people to do what I wanted to do. And I booked myself a trip and I went to that club. And the day after, I posted those pictures on social media of me looking fabulous and out having a great time. Wouldn't you know how many people slid into my DMs? Maria, I can't believe you went to that club without me. Maria, we have to go next weekend. That looks like so much fun. 8 years. I couldn't get or convince anyone to please come with me. But the moment I decided, screw it, I'm going, because it is going to be a good time and I'm going to have fun no matter what anyone else thinks. Then all of a sudden, they're begging to come with me. It's time to take your power back in your relationships. You don't always have to do everything alone, but I guarantee you, if you have the mindset that even if you go out alone, you're still gonna have a good time and you look great and you feel great, that kind of energy draws people to you. And maybe your ex sees those pictures on social media and maybe they don't give a hoot about it. Maybe they're not one of the people that's sliding into your DMs or asking you to go out with you next time. Who cares? When you go out and you're looking great and you're smiling and you're having a great time, you're going to meet other people who are also there having a great time. And automatically, you already have an interest in common because you were two people who both thought that this would be a fun venue. Let me tell you how you're doing this wrong. You're doing it wrong if you get dressed up and you look great and you go out and you are only doing this to post pictures on social media so your ex sees it to make them jealous. Welcome to the other half, where we know attraction is not just about looks. We also have to take care of the inner half. Because if you're only getting all dressed up and looking your best to try to provoke a jealous reaction from someone or make them feel as anxious as you feel on the inside, make them feel like they're about to lose you or they should be with you, you're having the time of your life. Well, you're not really having the time of your life. And when that plan doesn't work, you're probably not going to go out again. You're not going to be motivated to, because that's the wrong core motivation. You don't want to sit at home waiting around for someone to love you or to realize that the breakup was a mistake. But I also feel like it is a mistake to only go out to try to make someone else want to be with you. We do have an anxious urge sometimes to try to make people feel a certain way, and it's only because we want them to care about us so much. And I get it, you have emotionally invested a lot in this person, but the problem with waiting for people is you're continuing to stay emotionally invested in something. The investment could flop. And if this is someone who's already broken up with you or told you that they're not ready for a relationship right now, you're already starting in a hole. It's one thing to try to grow someone's emotions and attraction for you, and that kind of thing does happen. But it's another thing for someone to have already made you feel like you're not good enough, and now you're waiting around to see if they'll change their mind. You know, on this channel, I always advise people that it's best not to wait for anyone who has made you feel less than or has told you they can't be in a relationship right now, or they're working on themselves, or they're not ready for a commitment. And one of the biggest reasons that I tell people to do that isn't just because I have certainly wasted a lot of my own lifespan, but I also know what it's like to be on the other side of that. I once had a guy friend who I only considered a friend. He confessed feelings for me, and of course I was trying to give him the soft letdown. It wasn't anything about him as a person. We were friends. I thought he was a great guy, but I didn't have romantic, chemical feelings for him. And in an attempt to spare his feelings, I gave him the, oh, I'm going through a hard time and I need to work on myself right now. And I had just closed down a business, so a part of me was going through a hard time. Although, here's the thing. If I had been interested in him romantically, it wouldn't have mattered what was going on in my life. I would have dated him. And I think that's just a little gem there that's really important. People will tell you, oh, I'm not ready for this and I'm not ready for that. Trust me, if they want you, they want you. They'll be with you. So I told him I was going through a hard time and I really needed to work on myself. Now, over the next year, an entire year, this friend of mine worked really hard to get me to change my mind. Every couple of weeks, he'd offer to make me dinner. He'd ask me to go out. Or there were also subtler things where it's like, hey, I'm having a problem with one of my pets. Do you think you might be able to come over and help me? I mean, this guy tried everything for a year. And I am telling you right now, it was a complete waste of his romantic emotions. There was nothing he could have ever said or done that would have gotten me to change my mind. I was not interested in him. I'd already given him the letdown. I'd already given him the rejection. In my mind, he was completely friend-zoned. He could have won the lottery. It wouldn't have mattered to me. I did not want to be with him. And this is why I always tell people, you don't want to wait around to see whether or not someone else is going to change their mind about you. What could he have done? What could he have romantically accomplished in that year? Probably a lot. Think of how much your life changes in the span of a year. Think of the last year of your life. Think of all the things that have developed and changed just in the 1 year. But I'll tell you, if you have spent that year pining and longing and consuming yourself only with thoughts about, will my ex ever be with me again? You might not have gotten as much done as you potentially could have. And why waste the potential? There is so much life out there. We get caught in this negative echo chamber of our social media from time to time. And I know, I see the videos about how, terrible modern dating is. And I understand that there are people out there that are jerks and they will use you and they'll ghost you, but they are not the only kind of people out there. And if you stop waiting around to make plans with someone who may or may not show up and you show up, you will find that out, just like I did. The world around us has changed, but human nature really hasn't. When you go out and you start doing things and giving yourself experiences that you want, you're going to meet other people and you will find that there are people who care about what you want to do and what experiences do you want to have. And not only do they want to go out and have a good time, they want to make sure you're having a good time too. And you're not going to feel like you're always at the mercy of everyone else anymore. You're going to feel completely enflowered. My name is Maria Adriana. You did not have to live my life, but I certainly hope you can learn something from it. As always, thank you for visiting. The other half.